सर एक बार आए, तालियों के साथ स्वागत किया जा सके।
Panelists and distinguished guests, I have been told that 2 sessions have been merged in this, and we have to basically this session is about e-governance and how IT is changing governance. I had come here basically to listen and not to speak, because I guess and I understand that the distinguished audience here knows much more than me in the sectors of governance as well as in IT. The efforts in e-governance have been going on in the last 10 to 15 years in both within government services as well as what you call G2C services. When I joined the service around 20 years back, there were initial rudimentary things of, I remember, reference monitoring systems, and then around 10 years later we saw experiments of Lokwani and Gyan-Doot concepts, which was basically services to citizens through citizen centers, which was later taken up by the IT department as citizen service centers throughout the country. We have progressed from that, and in the last 2 years at least, in the state of Uttar Pradesh, we have done something on e-governance. Other states and the government of India also has done something. To recount a few, the efforts of government of UP in IT sector or governance transformation through IT has been largely, one, in terms of providing common infrastructure in terms of state data centers and SWANs and things like that. 2, in terms of business process reengineering, mainly in projects of e-district. 3, G2G services in terms of information systems. One of the information systems is, for example, a common platform in our state in which all grievances which are addressed to the Chief Minister, whether directly or through Tehsil Divases, is monitored and is in public domain. And the information management system is the program implementations of the different districts, which are, this information management is also in public domain. But apart from this G2G, the main G2C services has been what is called as the 26 services of 8 departments, which was given through more than 1,000 citizen service centers and Lokwani Kendras. Very recently, from 25th November onwards, these services are now available at any point where you have a connectivity and where people can pay through card or net banking and get the services. So the monopoly of the citizen centers is no longer there. Having said that, we have a long way to go. From this 26 services, in principle, it has been decided that the services will increase for 3-folds more. Around 90 more services have been identified, which has to be given to the citizens through the same route. Apart from the government, many parastatals, most notably I have seen in UP Power Corporation, which have started in the last 1.5 years. You can pay your bills through net banking and card through the UPPCL website, and also your billing information comes on SMS. I've seen experiments like again a G2G experiment, which is a very successful one in the state of Uttar Pradesh, which is called IVRS-based midday meal monitoring systems. Recently, we are in the process of a project called eUttar, which is basically monitoring all large-scale projects throughout the state of UP. And again, it is an example of G2G. But if you give it to the public domain, it becomes automatically G2C, which we intend to do. Because the monitoring of the projects is not only government's baby, it should be citizens' baby also. One of the other parastatals, a large PSU called UP State Road Transport Corporation, is going through a process of integrated traffic management system, transport management system, in which the public or the passenger information system is linked to the vehicle tracking system. So the passengers can actually track the vehicles and get the information from there. So a lot of different efforts are taking place both in government as well as in parastatals for changing the way we work. But having said that, I do understand and I do acknowledge that a lot much more need to be done. And I look forward to this session for getting ideas which can be implemented. In the next year, 2015-16, we have already, our Chief Minister has approved something called an integrated grievance redressal system, which the idea is that all the grievances are fed into the common portal and the address, and the solutions are available in the public domain, something on the lines of which Government of India is also trying to do. So in terms of infrastructure, in terms of G2G, in terms of G2C services and business process reengineering, all 4 areas we are trying to do something. In the years to come, I do see certain trends emerging. Initially, we were in the citizen service center mode. Now we have gone further and we are giving the services wherever there is connectivity. But in my opinion and in my imagination, largely the services now will be mobile based. And especially in a country like India, where mobile penetration is so much more and where other problems of electricity, logistics, desktop prices make this a much more convenient and much more attractive mode to deliver government services. Increasingly in the years to come, data security, issues of privacy, these will also come into picture. There will be a stage in which e-literacy or the so-called digital literacy of the common citizens may also be a factor. So we are in very challenging times and we will face these challenges together. But one of the challenges which is normally not addressed and which I feel as a practitioner is a very, very difficult and very important thing is when we are trying to transform governance in this fashion and using IT technology, one very pressing need is for government to, things are changing so fast that the cadre-based system of governance which we have in this country are not able to keep in touch with what is happening in the technology field. So at every stage, government must have this capacity to engage with the private sector to find the appropriate technology and the appropriate expertise and hire at an appropriate cost. That is a big challenge, and because many of these are proprietary items, many of these expertise is proprietary, within the government financial rules to engage and to procure such services at a reasonable cost will be a challenge in years to come when we go in the process of governance transformation. These are all I wanted to say. I have taken more than what I thought time I would take. I now encourage you to speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we have Mr. R.S. Sharma with us, IT Secretary, Government of India. We have requested sir to please deliver a keynote address. So sir, I request you to please address the audience. Sir, IT for governance.
Good afternoon, friends. Let me talk about Digital India. Right. Digital India, as you know, is a program which the Government of India has conceptualized. And this program's whole vision is to transform India into a digitally empowered society and a knowledge economy. Now, what are the broad components of Digital India? Because normally people, sort of say it's a good word, Digital India, but then how does it really operationalize? I mean, what are the basic components of this program? So there is, people keep on asking questions, so maybe I'll share with you some components of Digital India. So this program, Digital India, has got 3 broad areas. The first area is digital infrastructure. The second area is basically software and systems which provide services on demand. And the third area is digital empowerment. So put it this way, digital infrastructure is absolutely necessary for any sort of digital effort to take place, so to say. Without that, you can't sort of go about. Second thing, which is you must have programs which should ride on this digital infrastructure so that those programs can deliver services. And the third is citizens must be empowered to use these programs, and using this infrastructure they should be able to get services. So these are three broad components. On the first issue of digital infrastructure, there are both soft and hard infrastructure. So in the hard infrastructure you have national optical fiber network, which means that one of the biggest problems which we have in this country today in terms of service delivery is that there is a lack of connectivity. So we have created 100,000 common service centers which are known by different names. Maybe Lokvani is the sort of name given to it in UP. Someplace it is called Pragya Kendra in Jharkhand, for example, my state. Different names. Essentially they are common service delivery points. So there the biggest problem which is happening is that people are not able to deliver services because there is no connectivity. And you can't have digital service delivery without connectivity. So one of the fundamental problems which has to be solved is to provide broadband connectivity to every citizen of India. So that is the first bullet point of the Digital India, which is to provide broadband connectivity to every citizen of the country. Now the strategy which has been adopted for doing that is that there are 250,000 panchayats in the whole country, and 250,000 panchayats, each panchayat must have a terminating point for the optical fiber network. So the National Optical Fiber Network program seeks to provide optical fiber connectivity to each panchayat. On top of that will sit the common service centers, it will be connected. Not only that, optical fiber connectivity, which is a gigabit order connectivity, once you give it to each panchayat should be able to leverage that to deliver e-education, to deliver e-health, videos. You can deliver videos, for example, you can deliver entertainment on this. Once you have large bandwidth available to the villagers, then a lot of programs could be delivered. So the Government of India had started a program of National Optical Fiber Network, which will take connectivity, which will basically, incremental optical fiber is being laid so as to connect every panchayat from where we can deliver services. So this is first component. Second is a set of soft infrastructure, which is essentially, let's talk about the second soft infrastructure is digital identity. Because in any service delivery scenario, what is important is the authentication of a person whom you are delivering services. As you must have noticed, whenever you log on a website, you create username and password and things like that. So authenticating a person is very necessary, especially when you are delivering services through assisted mode. There also the person who is delivering services has to know that you are the person to whom this service is intended. If you are using, as our friend was talking, banking services at the doorstep, if you are using business correspondent, micro ATMs, then again it is important for us to know that I am the person to whom I am delivering old age pension is really the person who actually is going to get the old age pension. So therefore, digital identity is important. Now, digital identity from the physical identity is different. For example, you cannot show a PAN card to a computer saying that you give me services, because, there should be some way of this identity interfacing with the digital service delivery program, whether it is banking, whether it is certificate, whether it is something else. So therefore, a digital identity which is online, which is unique, which means one person cannot get two identities, which is authenticable, which means you can authenticate that yes, this is the person who he claims to be. This is another requirement of Digital India. And fortunately, the program Aadhaar has now delivered digital identity to 750 million people of this country. And the way they are progressing, they are delivering about 1.5 million IDs per day, which means that they can deliver about 4 crore identities per month, which is, so they will be able to, sort of cover the entire population by the end of next year. This is essentially, this enables every citizen of this country to participate in the digital world, in the digital service delivery space. In fact, GVS was talking about digital certificates to digitally signed certificate for the people. Now, interestingly, this digital identity enables people to do a digital signature without having any token. Currently, we have digital signature in dongles, so every officer of the state will have some USB kind of dongle which he will put in a computer and he'll sign documents. Now, once you have an authentication infrastructure of this digital identity, which is based on biometric or mobile, it should be possible for you to have the digital signatures on demand, which means you can just send this document as an input, hash value of this document. Those of you who know computer science must be appreciating and understanding this. You send the hash value, you send your Aadhaar number, you send your biometrics. The certifying authority basically queries the UIDAI. UIDAI says, yes, this is Mr. X, and thereafter the document is signed by Mr. X. Digital signature, the private key, public key pair is released by the certifying authority and the document is signed. So this, it simplifies, digital authenticable identity simplifies a number of transactions. And fortunately, this identity has been built as a platform, which means this can be used by any domain who wants to use it. So interestingly, we are using it for, for example, biometric attendance systems in the government of India. And today, 100,000 people are actually making attendance on the system every day in Delhi. So, and it takes less than a second. Just takes 600 milliseconds or 700 milliseconds. That's the, that's the round trip time. So this is another very, very important part of Digital India. And fortunately, we are the only country in the world who has done this kind of project, who has done this kind of identity infrastructure, which is really unique and at a scale, and it facilitates a number of issues in digital service delivery. The other issue is that the other objective or desirable of Digital India is every person should have mobile connectivity. Every person should have a mobile connection, a mobile number. Now, why mobile number is such an important thing? Yes, it is important for communication. It is also important for getting information. A lot of service deliveries, as our friend was saying, that in future a number of things will depend on mobile. Mobile will become the primary vehicle, and we are a mobile country. 900 million connections in this country and growing very fast. Today morning we had that mobile discussion. There are about 8 million smartphones being sold every month in this country. So we are actually going to, mobile is going to become the primary instrument of getting service. Now, mobile is also becoming very, very important from another perspective. You can link your digital identity, which I talked about a little while ago, with mobile number. So therefore, mobile becomes your de facto identity. And using your mobile, you will be able to sign documents, for example. You will be able to do banking, for example. You will be able to do a lot of things. So this is very interesting because no other country has got this kind of. I can link my Aadhaar number with mobile number through biometric authentication for the first time, and thereafter my mobile number becomes my de facto identity. And using that mobile number, using the one-time passwords, using all kinds of things, I will be able to do a service delivery. So that's another part. Third is every person should have a bank account number. So bank account number will obviously provide him, include him financially, which is so necessary for every person, and he will be able to be included in this financial world. So these three numbers, Aadhaar number, mobile number, and finally bank account number, are really the numbers of empowerment. These three numbers will be able to empower every citizen, which should be able to participate in digital world, in the information and communication systems world, he will also be able to participate in the financial world. So this is another part of infrastructure in digital India. The third is common service centers. So we should have service delivery points, because we know that everybody in this country cannot have computers with him or her. So you need to provide, some common service points from where people could go and get the government services. So these common service centers will be able to deliver, especially connected with megabit connectivity. They should be able to deliver certificates, they'll be able to deliver entertainment, digital literacy, for example. So there are a lot of things which these common service centers can do. So essentially these, and fortunately we have 155,000 post offices. So besides 250,000 common service centers, 155,000 post offices could also be leveraged, and that makes 400,000 outlets in the country, which will cover large number of villages. We have 600,000 villages in the country, so more or less every village will have some common service centers or somewhere near the village. So this is the part of the first part, which is digital infrastructure, both software and hardware, which should be able to allow, to be used by the citizens for service delivery. The second thing is the, services on demand. Now currently we have a program running from 2006, which is, National E-Governance Plan. And there are a large number of, projects which are, some of them are delivering services, and the states are also doing many of these projects. Transport is one such project, e-courts is another project. Now what has happened is that these programs were started in 2006. So the technology development at that time was not really at this level. Today we talk of clouds, today we talk of converged infrastructure, today we talk of web-based applications. Today it's a much more connected world. At that time it was not. So all those applications which have been developed really are a little behind in technology terms. Interestingly, transport application, for many of you may know, it is today in 2015 working on what is called a client-server mode. I mean, client-server mode was good enough 20 years back. This is today certainly not. So today, it's like running a bullock cart in the jet age. That's the kind of situation. So we are actually behind the curve on many of these applications. And these applications are inefficient. They use, for example, in client-server mode, we are using 600,000 licenses, 600 licenses, because this application is running in every district. So every district has a small data center, every district has a license, and these are unfortunately proprietary licenses, so some database companies are making money out of this. So these applications, we are doing a complete overhauling and re-engineering of these applications. Now, couple of things of re-engineering. One is we are, migrating them to a really enterprise level common application softwares type of thing, multi-tenancy applications. So which means there will be a single application hosted somewhere in data center, national data cloud, so to say, which will run all the instances of transport. And after all, the numbers are not very large. Even if you have, let's say, 50 million vehicles in this country, so what? That's not really, big number and big size today in terms of, storage or the compute. Nothing. You have 750 million unique IDs, and in one day, the kind of computation which they do, 1 million fellows come for identity. Each person's, biometrics are tallied with 750 million people. So and there are 12 biometrics, by the way. So the number of comparisons done is 1 million multiplied by 12 multiplied by 750 million. So it's thousands of trillions is the number. So therefore these applications in terms of compute, etc., are not very intensive, and what we are doing is we are actually converging, we are changing these applications, rewriting them, so to say. These applications are also silos, which means they don't talk to each other. Which means if I have, let's say, a policeman captures a vehicle on the road and he finds that this vehicle is a stolen vehicle or something, and he wants to figure out whose vehicle it is. Now he has no means to figure it out. And it should be very possible. He should be able to plug in the vehicle number, and the data center at the back end should be able to respond to him saying, this is the details of the vehicle. I mean, what's there? This is such a small thing. This can be done very easily. So essentially what we are doing is, we are exposing what is called a common APIs. APIs to public, APIs to other apps. APIs to other apps will enable machine-to-machine communication among applications, and APIs to public will enable public to access them, or a common citizens to access them, or law enforcement bodies to access them. So these are some of the things which we are doing so that the applications are able to interface seamlessly with the person. For example, if you want to do business here, and if you want to, sort of get an import-export license, then you have to apply for there, and then you have to apply to customs, you have to apply to central excise. There is no need to do that. You can apply at a single point, let the machines thereafter talk to the customs server or the excise server. So we are talking of an integrated service delivery environment where applications are able to communicate with each other. So that's the Digital India, the second part, which is services on demand. The third is digital empowerment, which is essentially enabling everybody to digitally literate, also IT for jobs, information for all. So essentially making people digitally literate so that they are able to access services. So this is going to be the overall architecture of Digital India. There are many, what is called the early harvest programs, which are also a part of Digital India, which means some small initiatives which can actually be immediately done without much of a prerequisite, so to say. So for example, this biometric attendance system which we put in. Now this is, people have been getting those biometric attendance systems, and they are lakhs and lakhs of rupees, proprietary softwares, closed softwares. This is a platform, which means you just buy a small device which is a sensor which costs you 2,000 bucks, and you plug it in your computer, PC, and you are able to make attendance. So the system is so cheap actually, and so deployable, so scalable. Unfortunately, what has happened is that we have done a lot of experiments in e-governance. All our experiments have either become pilots who don't scale up, or somehow we were not able to sort of provide that scalability. And India is all about numbers. India is billions, not millions. So you need to, any application which you provide must be scalable, must be able to scale up to large numbers very fast. So that's something which we have been able to do. Small, some innovative applications like this, we have started what is called a Jeevan Praman. Now all the government officers who retire, and I don't know whether, I mean, I'll certainly retire very soon now, but maybe some of you will also. There, you see, after you retire, then every year in the month of November, you have to go to the bank personally, and you have to prove that you are alive. This is called a liveness certificate. So you have to, kind of go there and say, Huzur, hum jinda hai. And the fellow may say, bhai, aap jinda hai, prove kijiye ki aap jinda hai. I mean, that's a very, how do you prove that you are alive? हम बोल रहे हैं आपके सामने, अरे नहीं, आप हैं, ये prove कीजिए पहले. So there are a huge amount of, issues which take place, and it is very, while some of us will be able to go for some years, but thereafter, you become invalid, you become old, you're not able to move, you become sick, and then, you have those huge challenges. Then you have to get something done by some government officer, some fellow will certify that yes, you are alive, and then you submit that certificate. It's very demeaning, and it's pretty bad. Now there's a very simple solution to it. If you are able to biometrically authenticate yourself, it proves that you are alive. So from any terminal anywhere in the country, in fact, interesting part is that if you are drawing a pension, suppose I draw my pension from Ranchi, and I am settled with my children somewhere in Trivandrum, every November I have to come to Ranchi to, prove that I am alive. This is also very funny. So this way, from anywhere in the world, you can, just buy that 2,000 bucks of, this sensor and plug in your Aadhaar number and put in your biometrics and you are alive. So you can prove that you are alive. So basically what I'm saying is that there are many small initiatives which have been taken and which can be taken and which can simplify the life of people in general without much investment. Fortunately, information and communication technology is one such technology which does not have too many prerequisites. You don't have to build roads to, do the IT. It's a very simple, simply deployable kind of technology, and therefore it must become the centerpiece of governance, because you can enable, it's a great enabler in terms of governance. So all the good governance efforts which are taking place, which Jivesh, for example, is leading in Uttar Pradesh, this is really, he can transform, he's transforming the, governance and administration. This can be done. And if you have a leadership which is basically, doing that, it becomes to that extent very, very simple. So therefore, now banking, for example, banking is an area. Now you have today a technology which enables you to do banking through a mobile phone effectively, mobile phone with biometric sensor. And you can do interoperable banking, which means that if I am the BC of State Bank of India and you are a customer of Bank of India or ICICI or whatever, you come and I can still like I can put my debit card into any ATM and draw the money. Similarly, you can do interoperable banking. It is possible. Technology enables you to do, and it's a very, very cost-effective technology. The electronic KYC which Aadhaar offers, you are able to open a bank account using eKYC in virtually no amount, no money, in a paperless fashion, while the cost of acquisition of a traditional bank account, bank customer, is 100 rupees. So you are able to do it much cheaper, much more cost effective. In my view, digital is always cheaper, much more cost effective, much more transparent, much more traceable, much more environment friendly. You don't spend paper. So actually, digital is the way to go, and therefore Digital India is a program which truly, if it can be done, will transform. One of the things which I think it will be very interesting for you, Jivesh Nandan, to appreciate is, we have started and we are actually doing a pilot on what is called a digital locker. And the concept is as follows. When you go to any place to apply for a job, for example, people ask you to submit all your certificates. Give me your high school certificate, your caste certificate, your income certificate, your residence certificate, domicile certificate, whatever. So you give lot of these certificates, and these certificates have got to be certified by somebody, notarized or whatever. Some gazetted officer must sign it, or I don't know what it is called, counter signature or something. Abhipramadit, as it is called in Hindi. So this is what you have to do. Now imagine if you were able to open, for example, he is basically digitally signing every document today and giving it to the person. Now suppose you give it to the person, but at the same time you keep a depository of these certificates which are digitally signed at somewhere in the back end. Link them to the person's Aadhaar number. And anytime he goes to some office, he does not need to give these certificates to him in a physical form. He just give the reference of these certificates somewhere on the web. This will eliminate the need to, first of all, forgery will go away, because there are many cases where teachers are appointed on forged certificates. In fact, people had been flying planes on the basis of forged certificates. Some pilot license or something, some fraud took place. So all this can be eliminated, number one. Number two, the person will become so empowered that he will be able to just, sort of share these certificates like you share your documents through a Dropbox or whatever softwares are now available. You will be able to share these certificates. And most interestingly, you should be able to digitally sign these certificates using the same identity infrastructure which I talked about. Which means that they are certificates which are signed by you, and tomorrow if that certificate is found to be false, you cannot say that I did not give it, because you are digitally signing it. If you are signing it physically, you might always deny this is not my signature. But as you know, in an IT Act, digital signature is a non-repudiable proof of you signing it. And therefore, this whole concept of digital locker, if it can be implemented by all these stakeholders, will really transform and will really ease a lot of problems of the citizens. So there are a number of, and maybe I have left out some of these components which I would have covered, but broadly the whole idea of Digital India is to apply and leverage digital technology so as to transform India into a digital economy and empower the people of this nation to become digitally empowered. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. If you please allow us, can we take one question from, if somebody wants? If somebody has a question? Sir.
मोबाइल नंबर विद द आधार कार्ड एंड आधार कार्ड विद द डिजिटल इंडिया, और ये जो कंपनियां हैं लगातार ये मोबाइल नंबर्स बंद करते जाती हैं 3 महीने 1 महीने के बाद, जो है इनकी कोई वैलिडिटी नहीं रहती अगर आप यूज़ नहीं करें या पैसे नहीं जमा कर रहे हैं, तो व्हेन द योर नंबर इज गोइंग टू चेंज देन हाउ कैन इट विल बी वैलिड? हाँ, देयर इज अ ग्रेट प्रॉब्लम इज गोइंग ऑन इज
Hopefully one expects कि 30 सेकंड में मोबाइल चेंज नहीं होगा, लेकिन अगर होगा तो as I explained to you, in a very small device you can just reset that. See, if you biometrically authenticate yourself and say this is my Aadhaar number and this is my mobile number and this is my fingerprint, everything goes to the UIDAI. UIDAI essentially first of all checks that the fingerprints of this person and Aadhaar of this person are the same person or not, which means you are the person who possesses that Aadhaar number. And once it does, UIDAI just stores your mobile number into their database. And they will be able to authenticate every time you query them. They will be able to say, yes, this mobile number belongs to this person. So when you are going to change the mobile, you probably can reset it again by the same logic.
Thank you, sir. Second thing, sir, live, as you have speak about the life certificate, our UP government is going to launch from the next year by online we can just get the life certificate.
No, life certificate may have, you see, life certificate is a life certificate, right?
जी.
It basically proves that a person with this identity is alive. Now, whether that person gets a pension or whether that person gets something else, that's not really the issue. Now, Aadhaar is one way, very inexpensive way to prove conclusively that this person at this point of time at which he gave this biometric is alive. Now, you can use this in any way you want.
Yeah.
So essentially what is happening is that there is an open platform on which anybody who authenticates and who does the life certificate, basically his data gets stored on that platform. Now from that platform, the authorities which are issuing him the pension or doing something else are basically able to download or see.
Right.
And it's a digitally signed document. So essentially EPFO, for example, a lot of insurance companies, for example, a lot of companies will be using this certificate, and this is an open architecture. One of the things which we are doing in Digital India to ensure that as far as possible, and this may hurt the so-called many software companies, as far as possible we should use the open source components in building the software stack. So this is going to become an open platform on which people should be able to authenticate and people should be able to download.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. We will not be able to take more questions.
सर मैं ट्रांसपोर्ट डिपार्टमेंट से हूँ, सीनियर ARTO हेडक्वार्टर सर. हम लोगों ने सर ऑनलाइन ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस एप्लीकेशन विथ पेमेंट लखनऊ में शुरू किया है सर. भारत सरकार ने जैसे जानकारी है हम लोगों को सर, और हम लोगों ने देखा भी है, जो सारथी सॉफ्टवेयर वेब बेस्ड अब बनाने जा रही हैं. अब हम ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस वेब बेस्ड जाकर के ले सकते हैं. अभी जो प्रेजेंट सिस्टम जिसको कि आपने कहा कि हमारा क्लाइंट और सर्वर सिस्टम पर काम करता है, आज हमारी जो समस्या इसमें आती है सर वो यही आती है कि वास्तव में आप एप्लीकेशन तो वेब बेस्ड जाकर के वहाँ से ऑनलाइन करते हैं, पेमेंट भी आप कर देते हैं, लेकिन पेमेंट करने के बाद आपका डाटा फिर जाता है RTO में, और आदमी जिसे वहाँ अप्लाई कर दिया वो RTO पहुँचा और डाटा VPN कनेक्टिविटी के माध्यम से हमारे ऑफिस में नहीं पहुँचा, तो वो आदमी उस वक्त वहाँ पे हुज्जत करता है कि हमारा लाइसेंस आप बनाइए, हमने तो अप्लाई कर दिया था. ये सर इशू मैं यहाँ ये रेज कर रहा हूँ सर कि जो आप नया सॉफ्टवेयर वेब बेस्ड दे रहे हैं सर, उसमें आपने एक चीज़ कहा है अब कि अब जो वीपीएन कनेक्टिविटी है, जो कि पूरी तरह से भारत सरकार दे रही है, वीपीएन कनेक्टिविटी से ही सारा डाटा हमारा ट्रांसफर होता है नेशनल रजिस्टर पर, और जो वेब बेस्ड काम होता है वो भी वापस आरटीओ सर्वर पे आता है। तो ये वीपीएन कनेक्टिविटी आपने अब बंद करने की बात कही है। आपने कहा है कि जो कनेक्टिविटी इशू है वो राज्य सरकार देखेगी सर, और हम चूंकि इसे पूरे प्रदेश में लाना चाहते हैं ऑनलाइन सर्विसेज को सर, तो इसमें सर हम ये जानना चाहते हैं कि क्या जो कनेक्टिविटी है उसका पूरा खर्च राज्य सरकार को वहन करना है, या भारत सरकार अभी भी जैसे वीपीएन कनेक्टिविटी दे रही है वैसा देगी सर?
देखिए, कनेक्टिविटी जो है ये ऐसा चीज है जिसको लोगों ने बहुत मिसयूज किया है
सर।
एंड व्हाट आई मीन टू से इज दिस, lack of connectivity is being cited as a single reason for not getting connected.
सर
कि भाई हमको तो कनेक्टिविटी कहीं है नहीं तो हम सब जगह अपना 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 रखेंगे डेटा।
सर सर
विच इज एन एक्सट्रीमली, बिकॉज आप डेटा रखने की जो कॉस्ट है, लाइसेंस की जो कॉस्ट है,
सर
उस कॉस्ट को अगर आप बचा करके उस कॉस्ट को अगर आप कनेक्टिविटी में दे दीजिए
सर,
तो उससे बहुत बड़ा फायदा होगा।
सर
नंबर वन। नंबर टू, प्लीज don't take out from your mind this VPN and other kinds of dedicated connectivity or lease line type of stuff. Nothing.
sir
You are basically you should be able to connect like any other person who does it on internet.
sir
I don't think there is any city in UP or any district in UP where district headquarters does not have even the 2G or 3G kind of connectivity, where you should be able to get a broadband. अपना ऐसी कोई बड़ी भारी अगर कुछ है भी districts तो उनको डिस्कनेक्टेड रहने दीजिए, बाकी को आप वेब बेस्ड ले आइए। तो ये जो VPN और नॉन VPN वाला ये बेकार की बातें हैं। दुनिया कनेक्टेड है, कन्वर्ज्ड है, और उस चीज को लेकर के हमको चलना होगा।
सर
जहां जहां कनेक्टेड है वहां उसको ले आना होगा, जहां जहां कनेक्टेड नहीं है उनको कनेक्टिविटी प्रोवाइड करके ले आना होगा। और दिस कनेक्टिविटी विच इज आई एम टॉकिंग इज नॉट अ बिग थिंग। कनेक्टिविटी इज लाइक अ डोंगल इन योर कंप्यूटर। Connectivity can be anyhow. This web connectivity should be provided. It may be a low bandwidth connectivity, which is fine, because ultimately if let's say in RTO the fellow is accessing a driving license, it's a text file, it's a few kilobytes, it's not even a few, in fact it should be some bytes, so you are not having a huge video interchange of the data. Therefore what we should do is we should basically have very lightweight systems at the front end, and we should bring all the intelligence and processing and storage at the back end. That's the paradigm. That's the way we should progress. We should not go this in the name of connectivity नहीं है तो हर जगह अपना अपना एक कंप्यूटर उठा के बैठ जाइए, तो फिर कनेक्टिविटी नहीं तो अपने अपने उसमें कर लीजिए, पीसीज में करके रखिए, बिकॉज आपको तो वहां से भी समस्या होगी। आई थिंक दैट्स नॉट नहीं
सर, हम तो सर चूंकि आपने बताया कि हमने डाटा डिजिटाइजेशन में भी और हम अपना नेशनल रजिस्टर पे भी हमारे 1 करोड़ डाटा आरसी का था सर, उसमें हम 60 लाख डाटा कर चुके हैं और हम वहाँ नेशनल रजिस्टर पर डाल रहे हैं।
देयर इज अ ह्यूज प्रॉब्लम व्हिच यू हैव। फॉर एग्जांपल, अ पुलिसमैन वांट्स टू नो सर that this vehicle which has met with an accident, whose vehicle it is.
Sir.
Now your data is getting pooled. आपने हर जिले में रखा हुआ अपना डेटा, वो बीच में अपना वो राउंड रॉबिन मैनर में पूल करेगा, कहीं आपकी वही कनेक्टिविटी नहीं रही तो अल्टीमेटली डेटा भी आपका जिला से लेकर के उसमें जाता है, क्या बोलते हैं, आपका स्टेट में जाता है या नेशनल में जाता है, तो कैसे जाता है? फिजिकली तो लेके नहीं जाते हैं आप उसको,
नहीं, वो भी
उसको भी कनेक्टिविटी जाता होगा।
जी सर,
that's what I'm saying. So connectivity is something which has got to be there and which is there. So therefore this kind of funda that we will have 60 lakh chala gaya abhi aa raha, that's not really the way to go. Number one. Number two, I also want to tell you in this is that we should start using platforms. And these platforms are payment platform, for example. So basically all kinds of payments, you must have a payment gateway of the government of Uttar Pradesh, which basically should be able to you should be able to pay all kinds of fees and taxes through that payment gateway. Currently what is happening is that each department has got some agreement with some banks who are doing this. So everybody is doing it to this, and all of you know that if there are n departments and if there are m banks, then you need to have n into m contracts. But if you have a payment gateway, then every department can just latch on to that and should be able to. So basically you should be able to use
नहीं सर, हमने
payment platform, you should be able to use the SMS platform, you should be able to do Aadhaar platform. This is the way to go.
ठीक सर, thank you.
You can carry offline in this discussion. Thank you very much, sir. Now we have yet eminent speakers to hear. So to continue, I'll invite the next speakers, and I request all the speakers to keep it crisp and short. So I invite Mr. Arvind Kumar, Principal Secretary, Health, Government of Uttar Pradesh. A round of applause for Mr. Kumar.
Giving me this opportunity to share some of the initiatives which we are undertaking in the health sector in the UP. One of the key roles of IT is basically bringing in transparency in the functioning of the government and in empowering the citizens to know what their entitlements are. And one of the initiatives which most of the departments took when IT revolution was taking place was to make their websites more informative. And this was the beginning, and especially after the coming of the RTI Act also, when you were supposed to make a number of proactive disclosures, most of the websites were updated, all the details of the schemes which the department was running were also put up on the website. And gradually the website started becoming much more informative, and there was a two-way communication also. This is what we have also attempted in health sector in UP also. A number of websites we are running where we are trying to basically involve the public also and to tell them what their entitlements are. The second is basically modifying those websites to be able to ensure service delivery and to engage with the stakeholders also directly to clarify what their roles are. If they are supposed to upload certain statements, certain details, then the website also should enable that to happen. So one of the websites which was launched recently by the health department was the website on the PCPNDT Act, where the ultrasound centers, they are, what are the ultrasound centers which are registered in various districts, what is the role which they are supposed to play, what are the ultrasonologists which are registered there, and so that the public also can come to know that these are the registered ultrasound centers, and they can also inform the government about unregistered centers, make complaint about them, so that action can be taken against them. So this is another next step which was undertaken to involve the public also. The third is basically improving the system efficiency. And one of the key problems which the department was facing was that there was lack of transparency in the availability of medicines in the government hospitals, and for which various simple solutions are available in inventory control and procurement. So all these solutions are available. One of the solutions was developed by NIC locally, and we have been able to implement it. And in the first stage, all the district hospitals and the CMO medical stores are have been computerized. The stock of medicines has been made available online. There was also lack of transparency with regard to engagement with the suppliers. The suppliers were not able to know from which district they have received the supply orders, when is the payment due to them, when are they dispatching supplies. Also the hospitals would not come to know, and we were not able to take action against the suppliers also if they were not delivering. So this entire system is under transformation now as far as the medicine availability and the procurement system is also concerned. Now here, basically I would like to focus on three major initiatives for which we are inviting public-private participation basically. For one of the initiatives, which is called M-Swasth, the RFP has already been floated, and it is basically a solution because we have about 1.25 lakh ASHAs working in the state of UP who are supposed to engage with the ANMs and the medical officers. And this solution basically ensures how a seamless data flow can be ensured from ASHAs to ANMs, and then this data can be utilized both by the medical officer and the higher level supervisory officers, as also for pushing in notifications, etc., to the beneficiaries. I'll come into the details of it. The RFP is already available, and those of you who are interested can also participate in the tender process. The second initiative and the participation with the public sector which we are opening is with regard to the running of the mobile medical units. This is under the National Health Mission scheme, and we are in the process of launching about 150 mobile medical units through public-private participation. I'll be coming into the details of it also. And the third is an initiative of the department basically for quality upgradation of the district hospitals. We have about 155 district hospitals in the state of UP, and we have picked up 40 district hospitals to get an NABH accreditation for our hospitals. As you might be aware that NABH is the highest level of accreditation which is available for the hospitals. So we are attempting that at least 40 district hospitals get an accreditation from the NABH. And one of the key elements is the diagnostic services which are available in the hospital. And for these 40 district hospitals, we want to invite private participation. The RFP for that also is under process and will be out shortly. I'll just focus on some of the details of all these three projects very briefly, because I think there are other speakers also who would like to dwell on various aspects of e-governance. So this first project is the mSWAS project. This is basically utilizing the mobile smartphones and the tablets, which we intend to start in a few districts for the time being, and so that ASHAs can upload data, and which can then be seen by the ANMs also. So this is okay. So ANMs and ASHAs basically are the key service providers, as I mentioned, and so they are supposed to maintain a number of registers. The key problem which they are facing is that with so many registers which they are able to maintain, if they are supposed to go let's say into a village, they are not able to take the extract of that data from their registers, and they do not know which are the children who are due for immunization, which are the pregnant ladies which are due for ANC and PNC, etc. So this basically is an initiative where we want to deliver timely and appropriate care for pregnant and lactating mothers, for immunization of pregnant women and infants, and also to identify which are the malnourished children who need supplementary nutrition. So one is the beneficiary care. The other is that the data which is getting generated, we are not able to capture it also. And if we are able to capture it also, we are not able to utilize it for managerial decisions. So that also is part of this project. The data which ultimately flows onto the district headquarters and to the state headquarters, that therefore becomes dated. We are not able to get an online data, and that dated data becomes of no use to us even if that is getting captured. So we want to bridge this gap through this solution. Now these basically will be the key features of mSWAS to empower the field level workers. One is, as of now, the ANMs and ASHAs, if they have any issues, if they want to discuss any problem, they do not have any platform available. So this basically will be a solution where they can get an online resolution of their queries, and they can address then the queries of the beneficiaries also. There will be an on-demand audio and video training also of the ASHAs and ANMs through the solution. And the beneficiaries can then get mobile alerts also. Even the service delivery officers also will be able to get mobile alerts. They will be able to schedule and plan their activities. We'll be in a better position to monitor which are the ANMs who basically are delivering, what is the kind of interaction with the beneficiaries, etc. And we'll be able to track the outcome of the various schemes also. These are the 5 districts which we have picked up, and this is the number of ANMs and ASHAs. The ANMs will be given smartphones, and ASHAs will be given smartphones, and ANMs, we intend to give them the tablets. And this is what the private provider is supposed to bring in. He is also supposed to basically not only provide the smartphones and the tablets, but also the entire solution for it. I'll be coming to the details of it. So about 1,719 tablets and 10,252 smartphones are to be provided to our field level workers. If this pilot in the 5 districts becomes operational and successful, this will be escalated to the rest of the 75 districts. These are the user groups, as I already mentioned. This is the kind of basically, though it is slightly congested, but these are the kind of services which we want to provide through this solution. See, one of the key problems is the department right now is facing is that even if Asha is able to deliver a particular service, she is not able to get her incentive in time. So this solution will also be able to ensure that the Asha is getting, if she has delivered a service and if she is due for an incentive, she will also be able to get that incentive in time. And if she is not getting the incentive, then at least the supervisory officers and the higher level officers will be able to know and track that this incentive should go to the Asha and the A&M. And similarly, we can also track the incentives which are due for the beneficiaries. So there is a system integrator which we propose to basically get through a tender. This is going to be the role for the system integrator who is going to be appointed for a period of 3 years. And so he is required to provide the software solution for it, the hardware for it also, as well as the training and hand-holding also of the field level workers, because they will not be able to know how to feed the data, how to utilize the smartphone, etc. So this is an entirely, and then the operation and maintenance of the system for the entire 3 years. So this is a complete package which the service provider is required to provide to us, and which will be selected through an open tendering process. These are the timelines which we have scheduled for the completion of the project, and the document is already out, and we intend to now close. These are the timelines basically. On 19th January we have floated the RFP, and the pre-bid meeting is scheduled on the 2nd of February, and we intend to issue the letter of intent by 10th of March. So this is one opportunity, since the stakeholders from the private sector also are here, who are looking for opportunities in the healthcare sector also, as well as other sectors. So this will be one wonderful opportunity to partner with the health department and showcase your potential. The next is the National Mobile Medical Unit project, as I mentioned. This also, the objective is basically to provide outreach services through a mobile vehicle, and this will also be providing not only the diagnostic services, but also some of the key service delivery also is required to be ensured through this. And this is also basically right now in these 150 mobile medical units are to be pumped into 40 districts, which basically are high priority districts and the districts which are affected by the Japanese encephalitis and the acute encephalitis syndrome cases. So minimum of 5 blocks are required to be picked up in each district, and these services are going to run again by engagement of a private partner who is required to bring in the so who is required to bring in not only the mobile units but also the services also. He is also required to provide the HR also for it, and the diagnostic facilities will also will have to be arranged by him. So a complete solution will have to be provided by him. Now these are the broad aspects of this project, where the IT application is also required to be there, because all these diagnostic facilities and the integration of the data which these 150 mobile medical units will generate will require an IT solution. The GPS tracking also will be required of these mobile vehicles, and so that the scheduling and planning and diversion of these mobile medical units is also undertaken accordingly. There is a central control room also which is required to be set up. I will not go into the details of it right now because the time is limited, and whosoever becomes interested in this particular project can also separately have a discussion with our officials who are looking into this tender. This is the timeline basically for the finalization of this tender. We intend to issue the RFP by 5th of March. There is a stakeholder consultation scheduled on 2nd of February. So anybody who is interested can also come for this particular participation also. This is the third project with regard to the diagnostic labs which I just mentioned. And this we are doing it in collaboration with the World Bank, and the World Bank team is assisting us in developing the tender document for this also. The tender document is almost ready. We are in the process of finalization of this tender. And I mean, telediagnostics is one of the areas which is the key application of the IT, and we want to make use of it also. There is a dearth of radiologists in the department. There is a dearth of experts in the department. And by utilizing the services of the expertise available with the private partners, we want that this gap, which is very much there in our healthcare service, gets bridged. And so therefore, this is one of the key sectors which we are looking to partner with the private sector. These are the districts. I mean, all the 40 hospitals have been clubbed into 9 clusters, and these are the kind of clusters which you can have a look at. And there will be a cluster-based tender which we are going to float, and so one can participate for a cluster. This is generally the volume and cost for 40 hospitals. I will not go into the detail for dearth of time here. The model basically for sharing the diagnostics will be that for the BPL patients, the entire cost will be borne by the state government, and for the APL, which is the above poverty line patients, the cost will be basically borne by the users themselves. These are certain key features of the bid document. So with that, I'll end my address here. Thank you.
So thank you very much. And okay, I think sir has his flight for Delhi. Right. They're sitting here. They actually were waiting for you also. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks to IT Secretary, Government of India. Okay, and now we continue with this, and I request the remaining panelists to please keep it short to around 5 minutes. And we continue with Mr. Rajiv Magotra, Head BMT RICO. Sir, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I think it has been a privilege to come over here and speak on the dais. I think everything about the IT has been already explained by Mr. R.S. Sharma, who has given the gist and brief of the IT reforms and how IT initiatives are being taken from starting from 1996 to 2006, the e-governance projects till date, and how the transformation has been taking place with the lives of people. There are a lot of mission mode projects which is already being explained by him. So I would just keep it short and simple, that to brief about RICO, that what RICO is doing and how RICO is helping and enabling in e-governance. So RICO has been instrumental in doing the e-district project of UP. We are also doing the Department of Postal and Telecom modernization project across India, in which UP is also one of the major chunks, wherein the machinery will be deployed in order to enable the citizens to get the services for the benefit of the community, wherein all the banking services, the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, all those services will be implemented together, and the services will be given to the citizens. We are also doing the projects like UID. We are a panel agency with UID, and we have been doing number of enrollments across India. UP is one of them, wherein we are doing a lot of enrollments, lot of centers we have opened where we are doing the enrollments, and which plays a key and significant role in the IT reforms in the country. We have also done a project in Delhi. We are talking about biometric attendance system. So we have implemented a project in New Delhi Municipal Corporation, which is one of its kind, wherein the mobile authentication tablets are being given so that it can gather the biometric attendance from the field, and a good governance can be given to the people. We are also involved in the UID, as a UID empaneled as a UID seeding agency, wherein all those things will be involved around these things so that they are implemented for the better governance. Apart from this, I think everything has been already being explained by Mr. R.S. Sharma, and with that I will just end my speech, because already everything is being explained, and if anybody is having questions, he can ask me. Thank you.
Sir, now I invite Mr. Anand Singh. He's the regional head of Canon India. Round of applause for Mr. Singh, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank to the organizers and IT and Electronics Department of Uttar Pradesh for organizing such a wonderful platform event to discuss and share our thoughts and updates. I'll not take much of time because I have nothing new to say about it. All our permanent speakers already spoken about that, so nothing new I have. I'll leave one point in front of you all to discuss and think and work on that, mainly from government sector. Still, after talking about a lot of processes, systems, and workflows, India is among one of the largest analog country. Anonymous information, data, content are lying in rural areas, offices, godowns in hard form. We need to convert those documents, data, contents into a digital form. Then only we can use it into a digital form in workflows, processes, and systems. So please focus on that. With that, I'll just say that Canon is working in that with the scanner range and production scannings and helping governments, state bodies, India governments to scan, digitize, and convert all those digital contents in hard copy and log contents into a digital contents. So thank you all. I'll not take much of time, and I'll give chance to other speakers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for this good gesture from your side. Now I invite Mr. Manish Tandon. He's MD of Questa Soft. Mr. Tandon, a round of applause for Mr. Manish, please.
Thanks everybody, and especially thanks to the organizer for giving me the opportunity to participate as well as present over here. Especially as mentioned by my earlier speakers, I don't have much because Mr. Sharma has explained everything so well that he has stolen the show. But I like to introduce myself as well as my industry first. You have seen Microsoft, you have seen Canon, you have seen a lot of biggies over here. They are basically forms of principal companies. And then they manufacture or invent lot many solutions, but to deliver all those solutions to the end user or the last mile connectivity, they need the partners like us, which is the system integrators or the resellers. We deliver these solutions to the end users. And in terms of the e-governance, I have two things which is I wish to mention over here. As a user, I'm a like many other people over here, I born and brought up over here in UP only, in Lucknow, and then after went to Mumbai to set up my business, and now again I got an opportunity to come back over here. So as a UP student I was here, and as a user, as a citizen, something which is I always aspire, I should get all the services on a single portal. Today, because of this internet as well as the cloud, the client-server model has gone. Now the end point, which is the PC, which is no more require or no more a hurdle into the delivering a solution. Everything can be web-based. A browser which is can be opened onto the mobile or on any handheld device is good enough to deliver you the service. The e-governance is the best thing to deliver the service, because now as a normal user, I don't see a government as my baap, but as we see, we are the taxpayer and we should demand the service. So now, how can we demand the service? This is one of the best thing. We expect that every government service, whether it's a health, taxation, police, or anything else, should be on a single platform and interconnected. I don't have to run from pillar to post to get any service. So if that is possible, that could be one of the best thing can happen. Second thing, as a businessman, what do I expect from my government to provide me? Sir, please treat me as a businessman only. I'm not a chore to steal your taxes. I'm going to pay you taxes, but of course give me the opportunity to work. And second thing is that the same way I need the single window service, the way I demand as a citizen, the way same thing, B2B, B2G, G2B, and all those terms can be defined over there. basically, in these things, I can see that central government as well as state government, both the officials are present over here. My industry is facing the problem of dual taxation. We pay on the same product the VAT as well as service tax. This is very tough to define in terms of the software, whether it's a service or a product. So in case if you people can help us in that, in defining these things and get me the single taxation for softwares, at least. Second thing, what is we expect as a MSME, most of these government services are defined and there is a threshold of something which is you should have this much of turnover or this much of the team size or these things. But we do expect all the government schemes, MSME schemes are from government only. You created this category and see, a few days back I was listening to the this television. There is a study which has came that 90% or more than 90% of the wealth is accumulated with the 80 people in the world. Sir, if you don't allow MSME to work, it is going to increase more. You want to have the entrepreneur in your society, so please help us and decide and define the government projects like that so that we can have a small entrepreneur in participation into that. That is one of the best thing you can do for us. And one thing which is, I can say it's a feel-good factor, that UP government has started a skill development program. We face a lot of problem in getting the educate manpower. I need salesperson, I need pre-salesperson, I need engineers, I need a lot of the opportunities are there in the market, but I don't have proper staff to serve them. So this is one of the best thing can happen to us if we get a lot more person who can serve. So that is the best thing. Once again, thanks to everybody and thanks to my colleague onto the dais itself. Thank you very much, sir.
So thank you very much. Now our last speaker of this session, Mr. Linsen Joseph, Head Government Southeast Asia, Intel. Round of applause for a speaker from Intel.
Yeah, good evening everybody. It was a great honor to be standing in front of the audience and talking about the initiatives in e-governance. I also have the same problem like my previous speakers. We were talking about innovation. I think our panelists have been talked about what are the key innovations the government has been taking forward from here onwards. Again, let me just touch upon a few words in terms of what we think is going to change the landscape of the country. We are a unique country wherein we have multiple variety of cultures, variety of languages, and we are trying to combine all these things together to provide the government services. Today, the governments have done a great honor in terms of providing or automating the government process by implementing the e-governance. At the same time, it's a great effort that the government has put in together, making sure that they have taken the entire services, the entire offering to a common service center or a common delivery point at this point of time. So that's a way the e-governance has got evolved over a period of time. What more innovations that the citizens are looking for? Maybe they need to have the services to be provided at any time, anywhere, wherever they are. That's a time when we have to have an opportunity use the multiple platforms, maybe a mobile devices and a social media to make sure that we can combine all the services and make sure that we reach out to the citizen. And that's a time when more and more innovations can get evolved over a period of time. And the government need to look at innovating how to reach out to the citizens with their services. And again, we thought there are a lot of challenges. I think the government of India has been taking a wise decision and the UP government is taking a wise decision in terms of how do they innovate their platforms. And an important piece is that you need to have a certain level of connectivity to provide it to reach out to every citizen. That's one point that we need to get established. I think government is investing a lot in that space. The second and the more important piece that we have seen over a period of time, it's important to build a common open platform for all services. It's important that whatever we are combining together or what are the silos of departments doing, it need to have a common platform. I think the governments are taking right measures in terms of establishing that common platform to bring out more and more innovations for the community. Thirdly, the literacy part of it. Digital literacy becoming an important pillar to make sure that how to reach out with the services to the common man in the rural villages. How do we able to get them to hooked on to the e-governance services that the government is providing? So Intel is committed today to make sure that we will provide the digital literacy program wherein we would like to train as many people as possible working with the government to make sure that they can get or make use of the digital services that the governments are offering. Secondly, we are also working on the technology. I mean, I've heard about a lot of kind of a talk. How do we build the security? How do we make sure that we'll provide services and innovations? We are providing a kind of a platforms or innovating a platform which we call as real sense technology. I think you might have heard about this in the common world forums. And this technology, what is going to change is that in 90s or in 80s and 90s, we were using the keyboard as an input devices. And in 2000, in current era, we are using the touch as a kind of input devices. Going forward, more and more people will start using this technology when you have the speech be recognized by the devices. And when I say a computer can understand your language, and then you will have a lot more people coming in. And fourthly, you will be able to get a lot more people, not only the speech, if you can become a gesture as becoming kind of an innovation. So we are bringing out a technology called real sense technology, which is part of a camera built into the devices, which will capture the action of a personality and make sure that it will start delivering what you're asking for. And we are committed to make sure that we will innovate our platform and we will work with the government to make sure that provide services and as many as people possible across the country will be our goal. And we wish the government all the best, and we will be happy to associate with the government to take innovation to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And question answer we will take after this one more session, and we'll take question answer at last. So just after that, we'll start with the new session. But to felicitate our speakers, I request Mr. J.S. Naveen Kumar, sir, to please present token of thanks to our speakers. This is eUttar from Uttar Pradesh, from Kannauj. I request my team members to please get the eUttar on stage, please. We have, yeah. So here is the eUttar. eUttar from Kannauj, prominent speakers. To Mr. Arvind Kumar. Mr. Anand Singh from Canon. Mr. Patsati Singh Sharma, Secretary to Chief Minister, Uttar Pradesh. And it's for our guest from Intel. So we request for a group photo. And the next session will be a panel discussion. And